Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allahumma rabbi zidni ilma. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Ameen. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. In this lecture, I will discuss the important concepts of horizontal forces with examples. And for this, I am using the work of an outstanding and one of my best students, Ms. Sharika Batul of class 2020, the Lyceum. An important advice: be soft and be gentle. Horizontal and vertical forces. Forces acting horizontally have no vertical components, that is sigma y is 0, like in this example. These two forces have no vertical components. Therefore, the resultant of these two forces is 9 newtons towards right. Similarly, forces acting vertically have no horizontal components, that is sigma x0. These two forces have no horizontal component. Therefore, sigma x of these two forces is 0, and the resultant of these two forces is 14 newtons in upward direction. Horizontal forces, an important note: don't consider the vertical forces, that is normal reaction and weight, while resolving horizontal forces. That is, ignore the vertical forces R and W. You need to ignore these two forces while resolving horizontal forces. Example 1. A small block of mass 1.25 kg is on a horizontal surface. Three horizontal forces. This is the concept of this lecture. And horizontal forces means we will ignore the normal reaction and weight of this block, with magnitudes and directions as shown in the diagram are applied to the block. Cos theta is 0.28 and sin theta is 0.96. A horizontal force, frictional force, also acts on the block, and the block is in equilibrium. This is the force diagram of this situation. This 5 has two components, 5 sin theta, 5 cos theta, and we will ignore the normal reaction and weight while resolving these forces, because we are resolving horizontal forces. Therefore, friction is equal to 5 cos theta plus 6.1 newtons. Hence, friction is 7.5 towards right. And part 2, given that the block is in limiting equilibrium means the block is about to move, and limiting equilibrium also means friction is mu r. The force of part 2, given that the block is in limiting equilibrium, find the coefficient of friction between the block and the surface. With the help of this formula, we can get the coefficient of friction. R is the weight, which is 12.5, and friction is 7.5. Therefore, mu is 0.60. Next part, the force of magnitude 6.1 Newton is now replaced by a force of magnitude 8.6. You need to replace this by 8.6 in the force diagram. Acting in the same direction, and the block begins to move. Find the magnitude and direction of the acceleration of the block. So, first we need to find sigma x. Sigma x, since we are taking this direction positive, so friction minus 5 cos theta minus 8.6 will give you sigma x. Since r is unchanged and mu is unchanged, therefore friction is also unchanged. It's 7.5. Sigma x is minus 2.5. Minus 2.5 means towards left. Sigma y, 4.8 minus 5 sine theta, which is 0. Therefore, resultant is sigma x. And the formula of resultant is ma. Since f is negative, minus 2.5, and mass is 1.25, so acceleration is minus 2. Minus 2 means towards left. So acceleration is 2 meter per second square in the direction of negative x-axis. Next example. A particle P of mass 0.5 kg lies on a smooth horizontal plane. Horizontal forces of magnitudes F newtons, 2.5 newtons and 2.6 newtons act on P. The directions of the forces are shown in the diagram, alpha, beta, theta, where tan alpha is this and tan beta is this. You need to utilize tan alpha and tan beta properly to get the values of cos alpha, sin alpha, cos beta and sin beta. You need to draw triangles with the help of these values of tan alpha and tan beta. Part 1. Given that P is in equilibrium, find the values of f and tan theta. This is the force diagram of this situation. This 2.5 has two components, 2.5 sine beta, 2.5 cos beta. Similarly, f has two components and 2.6 has two components. Since the particle is in equilibrium, therefore all right is equal to all left. So this plus this is equal to f cos theta. This is equation number 1. And this plus this is equal to 2.6 sine alpha, which is here. Since f is this, so by substituting f here, we can get the value of tan theta. And with the help of tan theta, we can get the values of sine theta and cos theta. By substituting cos theta here, we can get f. So you have option. You can either find theta or find sine theta and cos theta. Part 2. The force of magnitude F Newton is removed. This force has removed now. Find the magnitude and direction of the acceleration with which P starts to move. So you need to consider this force diagram only. You just need to ignore this. Therefore, we first need to work sigma x. Sigma x will be this plus this. Sigma y will be this minus this. So sigma x is this, sigma y is this. Resultant is 3.80. This is the formula of resultant. Acceleration is 7.60. Now make the rough sketch with respect to sigma x and sigma y and get the value of this angle. So theta tan inverse sigma y upon sigma x. So minus 26.6, which means the acceleration is acting. Acceleration makes 26.6 degrees from positive x-axis in this direction. This is the direction of acceleration. This is the direction of resultant and the direction of acceleration. 26.6 degrees from positive x-axis in clockwise direction. Next question. A small bead Q can move freely along a smooth horizontal straight wire AB of length 3 meter. This is 3 meter. Three horizontal forces. Again, we have horizontal forces. F, 10 and 20 act on the bead in the directions shown in the diagram. The magnitude of the resultant of the three forces is R Newton. This is the magnitude of the resultant of these three forces in this direction. Number 1, find the values of F and R. We already have discussed in the first lecture of resolving of forces. Whenever resultant is given, we resolve resultant separately and forces separately. This is the force diagram of these three forces. This F has two components, this 10 has two components. And this is the force diagram of this resultant. You just need to equate sigma x of both and sigma y of both. Sigma x of this will be 20 plus f cos 70 minus 10 cos 30. This is sigma x. And this must be r cos 15 because sigma x of this is r cos 15. So this is the equation for r in terms of f. Now equate sigma y. So f sine 70 minus 10 sine 30 is equal to minus r sine 15. Make sure you write minus here. So r is here. This is negative because we substituted the value of r. So by solving this equation, we can get the value of f. Hence f is 1.90. By substituting f here, we can get the value of r. So it's important to make these two equations correctly. This one and this one. Second part. Initially the bead is at rest at A. So U is 0. S is 3. The distance is 3. And it reaches B with the speed this. This is V. Find the mass of the bead. So we first find A. So with the help of this equation of motion, we can get the value of A. We have V. We have U0. We have S3. Now this is the equation of the resultant force. Resultant force is r cos 15 and mass and acceleration. So mass is 0.525. because bead is moving along the wire. So you need to take sigma x of the resultant. Sigma x, the x component of resultant, because bead is moving along the rod, along the wire. Next question. Four horizontal forces act at a point O are in equilibrium. The magnitudes of the forces are F newtons, G newtons, 15 newtons, and F newtons. And the forces act in the direction as shown in the diagram. Show that F is 41.0. First, draw the force diagram. This F has two components, this F has two components. 15 is as it is, G is as it is. Since the forces are in equilibrium, so this is equal to F cos 60 plus 15. So F is 41.0. For G, you need to equate these forces. This plus this equals to G. By substituting the value of F here and here, we can get the value of G. Last question of this lecture. Three horizontal forces of magnitudes 150, 100 and P have directions as shown in the diagram. The resultant of these three forces is shown by the broken line. The resultant has magnitude 120. This force has magnitude 120, makes 75 degrees with the 150 newtons. This is 75. Find the values of P and theta. This question is repeated. We will make separate diagrams for these three forces and this resultant. So this is the force diagram of this resultant, and this is the force diagram of these three forces. We just need to compare sigma x with sigma x and sigma y of these two. So sigma x, so minus 120 cos 75 is equal to P cos theta minus 150 plus 100, because we are taking this as positive direction. So 120 sin 75 is equal to P sin theta. By solving these two equations, we can get the values of theta and P. This is all. I hope this lecture will help you to understand the concepts of horizontal forces. I'm extremely thankful to Miss Sharika Batul, who helped me to make this lecture. Indeed, she is an outstanding student. May Allah Pak bless her always. Ameen. May Allah Pak give her the best grades in all her exams. Ameen. Allah Hafiz.